If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. Full House on the Road subscribers and followers. Every time I make an expense report video once a month, I'm always asked, how do we do it? How do you spend so little? Before I get started, there are going to be those who say that Carolyn and I's life is not happy because we don't spend a lot of money. Here's the thing I have to say. It really is what makes you happy. If you're interested in learning how to live cheaply, then boy, I think I got that nailed. But if you want to spend money, then I understand, because I used to do that too. In my previous life, I was very happy. Now, here's the thing. Spending money gives you this endorphin, makes you feel good. You know, I just went out and bought a new truck. And that's why we continuously spend money on things we probably don't need. It's probably why a lot of us have debt. That's why I had lots of debt. You have to start asking yourself, do I really need this or do I need that? For example, I needed a pickup truck. When my ex left, she took the only pickup truck we had. I had this car, but I needed a truck. Being a man, I wanted to get a truck, four-wheel drive, the whole deal. But my debt-free brain said, wait a minute, what do you really need? And what I really needed was a truck that could do some light hauling and maybe pull a pop-up camper. What I needed was a Chevy Colorado that had a 4-cylinder, and it didn't need to be four-wheel drive. Anything else is a waste of money, not only because you're buying something that you don't really need, but think of the gas mileage savings I'm saving on. I can get 26 miles a gallon when the truck doesn't have anything on it. 19 miles a gallon pulling a camper. You can't say that a lot, you know, for bigger trucks. I mean, I've heard people say, oh, I pull a camper, I only get 7 miles a gallon, but I'm not paying attention to gas mileage. Well, you have to if you want to live cheaply. What makes you happy? Going and having to work really hard to buy really nice things, go and work to pay for those really nice things that you never get to spend time in because you're working to pay for them. You can either do that, or you can minimize your life, downsize your life, and really be happy. When I was working 60, 70, sometimes 90 hours a week, and I never got to spend time with the things that I had because I was busy working to pay for all the things that I had. Now, what makes things worse is life always changes. As I've already said, I had lots of debt. When my ex-wife left, I spent almost 3 years really just focusing on paying down my debt, getting debt-free. All the things that I had that I got in debt for, I no longer had anyways. I was just paying for them. I was paying for things I didn't have. I didn't have anything after she left. What was the point in having them in the first place? I go back to this. It felt good. It felt good going out and buying them. It felt good to see the family happy with these new things that they were going to get tossed in the corner. When Carolyn and I got together, we rented a little house. I bet it was 600 square feet. We actually had to walk through our bedroom to get into the bathroom. That's how small it was. It was set on 8 acres, and we rented it for, like I said, $300. You can find things like this. This isn't, oh man, you're lucky. If you look, you can find very inexpensive places to live. It may not be the best thing. I mean, we couldn't really do anything on the property. It was rented property, but we got to walk around on it. We got to enjoy it. The lawnmower that I had was a very old lawnmower. Well, the engine blew up on it. Well, instead of going out and feeling good and getting the best and the newest lawnmower, I just went out and bought a new motor for it. It was $600 for the motor, and I replaced it myself. Another thing that makes people happy is smoking and drinking. Well, Carolyn and I quit smoking, and we don't drink. People say that drinking makes them happy. It's fun. It's a fun thing to do. Make you forget about the day. Well, there you go. You're forgetting about the day. Why do you have the day you have? Well, let's go back. You're drinking because you had a stressful day at work, because you're wanting to pay for a house that you don't get to live in because you're too busy working to pay for it. So you spend all this money on alcohol to calm yourself down from that miserable life. Well, if you just got rid of, if you look at the root cause of your stress in the first place, it isn't work. It's the things that you're trying to buy that you have to work to support. Think about this. The more things you buy, the more it costs you to maintain those things. You have a big old fancy swimming pool, and that you got to set up every year, and you got to maintain the pH balance and the chlorine balance and all these things, and it costs you hundreds of dollars each year to set up the pool, and you only get to swim in it 2 or 3 times a year. That may not be the most cost-effective way to enjoy your life. You get to go out and spend 2 or 3 days out of the year to swim in your swimming pool that you maintain nearly daily, because you have to work so much to support the pool that you never get to use. that, and the only time you really get to use it is when you're drinking because of the work that was so stressful. You see where I'm going with this? So if you just downsize your life, things get a lot easier. Now, a lot of people are suggesting that living out here is the way to go because it's so much cheaper to live. I'm not advocating that. I'm not saying the only way to live cheaply is to live out here. Carolyn and I, in all honesty, we spent $500 out here, but we didn't spend that much more in the house. We had the rent, and of course, if we'd have gotten rid of cable and you know, a few things that we don't have now, we'd be right almost where we are now, given the rent. Don't have to live out here to live cheaply. The thing you have to think about, though, is when you're living in a house, you can make more money. Living out here, it is very difficult to make money. It's almost a trade-off. You live in a house, you can downsize quite a bit to reduce your costs and make a lot more money. You come out here, of course, yes, you live more cheaply, but it's harder to make an income. Now, we talked about the endorphins that buying things, how good it makes you feel, how happy. Well, I just bought something. Well, I mean, when I bought my truck, 2015 Chevy Colorado, it was brand new. It had all the bells and whistles, you know, of a newer vehicle. But now I've had it, you know, 3 years, and it's got a big old house on the back of it. I'm not as excited about it anymore. But I do tell you, what really does make you have a good endorphin rush is when I open up my bank account. And I'm not being silly about this. I really feel good about myself every month when I open up my checking account, my savings account, and I look at all the money in there and the interest that is accumulating. And you don't have to be stressed about not having money all the time. Anytime I have to spend money, I'm always looking how I can reduce the cost of that all the time. We normally try to stay at campsites that have a water spigot. That gets kind of costly because there's not a lot of them, so you're driving from one to another. Well, then you come to a campground that doesn't have water, and so now you're having to drive to go get water. A solution to this is collecting rainwater. Now the Berkey water filter is having to work harder, which will shorten the life of the Berkey. So what I did is I bought a Walmart cheapo filter. Then I'm pumping water through, stream water, just whatever water I can find, rainwater. And it actually cleans up the water enough that I can run it through the Berkey to get all the bad bacteria out of it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video. And